It is a common fact that the Earth isn't exactly a comfortable planet to walk on. It is often muddy, rocky, and uneven, and even on an even surface, there could always be a hedgehog hiding. So, seeing that necessity is the mother of all inventions, it was high time to start protecting our precious feet. Lo and behold, friends, I am Valon, and this is the history of the shoes. According to Merriam-Webster, a shoe is defined as an outer covering for the human foot, typically having a thick or stiff sole with an attached heel and an upper part of lighter materials, such as leather. The usage of footwear started astoundingly early. Scientists have deduced from observing the reduced thickness of the smaller toes, which could result from usage of footwear, that approximately 40,000 to 26,000 years ago, people have started using footwear. And since footwear in the beginning were probably made from perishable materials, unfortunately there is no surviving footwear that dates from that time in our collective history. However, in Fort Rock in the state of Oregon were found the oldest surviving footwear, sandals. These sandals were made from the bark of the sagebrush shrub. With radiocarbon dating, they were shown to be around 10,000 years old, and it just goes to show that even then, people didn't really have a sense of style. Thankfully, there is a much hipper looking surviving shoe that is made of leather. This cowhide shoe dates back to 3500 BC, around 5500 years old, and is in perfect condition considering the age. Talk about quality. It was found in Armenia, and initially the researchers thought that the shoe was 600 years old because of the remarkable condition. Only later did the radiocarbon dating refute their primary suspicions. This shoe currently is exhibited in the History Museum of Armenia. Well, this might come as a surprise, but flip-flops aren't as new as one might think. These precursors to the flip-flops date back to pictures of them in ancient Egyptian murals from 4000 BC. The Egyptian flip-flops were made from papyrus and palm leaves. It's also worth a mention that many people during ancient times didn't wear footwear at all. Apparently they were seen as unnecessary. This was pretty common in the ancient Greek world. It is said that the first marathoner did his run on bare feet, and some think that even Alexander the Great may have conquered the known world with barefoot soldiers. With the trampling of the ancient Greek world by the Roman boot, this all changed. Although it is known that the Romans adopted a lot of the ancient Greek culture, they also deemed that running around barefoot was a step in the wrong direction. In Roman times, clothing was a symbol of power, and footwear was a necessity of a person living in a civilized world, although the slaves did go around barefoot. During the Middle Ages, popular with peasants in the Catalonia region as early as the 13th century, there was a common casual shoe called espadrille. This is a sandal with braided jute soles and a fabric upper portion. They also include laces that tie around the ankle. And now moving on to these funny shoes that you've probably seen in movies or video games. They are called Krakows, after the city of Krakow in Poland. Surprisingly enough, these long-toed shoes first appear in archaeological records of the 12th century, but they never really caught on until the 15th though. These shoes were pretty controversial though, especially among the clergy. One anonymous monk of Evesham in England recorded in 1394 that, with this queen, there came from Bohemia into England those accursed vices half a yard in length, thus it was necessary for them to be tied to the shin with chains of silver before they could walk with them. And another person, the author of a Latin book called Eulogium Historiarum, described the men of this period as wearing points on their shoes as long as your finger that are called Krakows, more suitable as claws for demons than as ornaments for men. You can really see the hate shine through. In 1368, the King of France, Charles V, issued an edict banning their construction and use in Paris, while in England in 1463, King Edward IV passed a law restricting anyone who is not an aristocrat from wearing these shoes over the length of 2 inches. Talk about overcompensation. And now the 15th century was really a creative time, and in the Ottoman Empire there was a new type of shoe invented called the chopin. Chopins were ridiculously high platform shoes, and they were popular among women in Venice all throughout the Renaissance period, the height of which could reach up to 50 centimeters or 20 inches. And so the government once again had to intervene, and with good reason too. So Venice passed a law that limited the height to just meager 3 inches, but to no avail as everyone ignored this law. Even royalty began to wear chopins, including men, and a person with authority or wealth was often referred to as well-heeled. The chopins are regarded as one of the precursors to today's high-heeled shoes. Up until the 19th century, shoemaking was a traditional handicraft, but by the century's end, the process had been almost completely mechanized, with production occurring in large factories. Despite the obvious economic gains of mass production, the factory system produced shoes without the individual differentiation that the traditional shoemaker was able to provide. Since the mid-20th century, advances in rubber, plastics, synthetic cloth, and industrial adhesives have allowed manufacturers to create shoes that stray considerably from traditional crafting techniques. Soles, which were once hand-stitched on, are now more often machine-stitched or simply glued on. Many of these newer materials, such as rubber and plastics, have made shoes less biodegradable. It is estimated that most mass-produced shoes require 1,000 years to degrade. It won't be hard to find Nike sneakers in archaeological sites in the future. Onwards to the year 1892, when the US Rubber Company introduced the first rubber-soled shoes in the country, sparking a surge in demand and production. The US market for sneakers grew steadily as young boys lined up to buy sneakers endorsed by football player Jim Thorpe and Converse All-Stars endorsed by basketball player Jack Taylor. This tradition of shoe-endorsing athletes lives on even today. Well, anyway, over the past 5 years, the global footwear manufacturing industry has declined by 0.6%. But still, it reached an outstanding revenue of $208 billion in 2018. In the same time frame, the number of businesses has grown by 1.2%, and the footwear industry is here, and it's here to stay. I would like to thank you for your attention. Hit the subscribe button if you like my content or just like this video if you actually liked it. Leave suggestions in the comments and please do provide feedback. I appreciate all constructive criticism. Till the next video, my friends.